Yeah. 1 minute.
And welcome to the City of Sunbury Council meeting. It's April 6, 2022, 7:30 p.m. It's my wife's birthday, and I'd like to say a moment of silent prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Happy birthday, Jenna.
Happy birthday, Becky. Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Joe St. John.
Yes.
David Campbell.
Here.
Tim Goode.
Here.
Murray Neff. John Brumney is absent. David Martin.
Present.
Cindy Cooper. Here. 6 present.
Thank you. We did have a meeting on March 16th, 2022. Would anybody like to make a motion?
A motion.
We got a motion by Tim Gose and a second by Cindy Cooper. Discussion?
The only thing I would do is under the list of attendees, I would add Mr. Hennessy's name to that because he's going to be a regular attender, I'm assuming. So.
Mr. Hennessy, do you want to clear that by your supervisor to make sure first? Steve, are you okay?
He should be on here. Yeah, he's doing the time.
All right, good deal. We very much appreciate you being
Yes.
here. Any other comments? All right, we have a roll call, please.
Tim Goode.
Yes.
Cindy Cooper.
Yes.
David Campbell.
Abstain.
Joe St. John.
Yes.
Murray Neff.
Yes.
David Martin.
Yes.
5 days, 1 absent.
All right, we're in the visitors section of the evening. Are there any visitors that would like to speak this evening? Or come on up to the podium, state your name.
And your business.
And
Just kidding.
Wow.
and your Twitter handle, please.
Your Twitter handle.
Nancy Crawford, Benjamin State's mama. And I'm sorry, I did not pre-register to be here, so thank you, Council, for having me. And I may have to come back, but I just kind of wanted to get a jump on things concerning Independence Day. Some of you may or may not know that I literally was thrown into the fire last year. I think I started at the Chamber 13 days before we had the big 4th of July celebration. So forgive me if I don't have all my facts. Yes, I'm still learning. I do know that the city, the Civic, and Chamber all kind of put on Independence Day together. And I am aware that City Owner came, I believe, last month and spoke about fireworks in the parade. But I want to make sure I do my part and get permission to use the square. Additionally, this year we would love to have a pie throwing or eating, a pie judging contest. And so we'd like to use City Hall if we can, if they'll allow it.
You need judges.
Yeah. Actually, we both need and then the other things that I've listed so far are kind of, I'm basing this off from the notes from last year as well as what we use for Christmas on the Square. The city provides a dumpster, correct? Okay, but it's up to the chamber to get the individual trash canisters, okay. And then will there be a gator for our use again? Yeah.
Sure.
And
These are all great questions. We should take these down because we need to incorporate this into our new intake form that's being created.
Maybe you should come to the events
Oh,
meeting.
shut
Can you come back tomorrow morning?
This is very timely.
And then the only other note I have is involving the police for the road closures and barriers, but I would imagine you guys probably handle that anyway, since the city's involved in the 4th of July.
You would think so.
No?
We normally have the Boy Scouts do it. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
Boy Scouts are gonna ask. Yeah, that's all I have. I know that we handle porta potties. Anything else I come up with, I will, like I said, I'll come back. That's what I had, unless any of you can think of something else I should know.
I don't think so. All the topics that you just brought up, we'll get you concrete answers in black and white form. We can hand back to you and say, we're responsible for this, you're responsible for this, Cindy Erd's responsible for the rest. So.
Sounds good.
You are welcome. There is a public meeting tomorrow, if you can get out of the office, at 10 a.m. right here, and it is going to be the new events committee. So you are welcome to, it's a public meeting, to come and just listen to that, but it's our first meeting, so
Okay.
I don't expect that anything will,
Okay.
but it'll be.
That reminds me, banners on poles again, will they put up the banners for us? That was another question, not necessarily related to Independence Day. We have had some yard signs made for the upcoming community expo. We've put a couple right on the lawn in front of our building, but we wanted to go, we did this last fall, we did it for Christmas on the Square, but I don't know if that's a call to you directly or a city council question about, are we allowed, we've been sticking them on the corners, like by Ace Hardware, Dairy Queen, that type of CVS. Is it okay to do that? Do we need special permission? They're just a little.
And you do that through the administrator.
So just give
Yes.
politics.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
We might even be able to point you in a direction where you could self-service to determine like where you are permitted to do it. And I would say in general, you can do it as long as you have private property owner permission, you can put them in, but anything in the right of way for the most part is not approved. Is that fair?
For community events, I'm more tolerant than I am of
Private
Joe's
business.
turf business. So,
Sure.
or not, I shouldn't say Joe's turf, but Jim's turf business.
Got it.
Yeah, I'm tolerant of community events and lost dogs.
Okay.
Those I generally will not pull.
Good deal. Awesome.
Do you need me to email my list, or are you guys?
Would you mind putting it in written form, just like 4 or 5 items that you wanted concrete answers on? Because honestly, we want to use this as maybe even like our proof of concept when we try to solve for how are we going to make this easier so everybody knows who's responsible for what and what approvals need made. It'd be great if you could.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Nancy. All right, any other visitors? All right, we're on committee reports. Mr. Murray Neff? No. Okay. Mr. Martin?
I yield to Mr. Ghost.
Okay. Mrs. Cooper?
Nothing to name.
Great. Mr. Capel?
Yeah, we just had our services committee meeting earlier this evening, quite a busy one. We talked about ARPA funding, potential for sewer expansion, hopefully to foster some new development, especially around the edges of the city and to the north. Talked about the Letts Avenue sewer issues. Turns out that there was some damage in the pipe, including some root intrusions, some roots. We're going to get some quotes on repairs there and then see if something more intense is required down the road. 2022 street program is a big topic, of course, ready to go to bid in the next couple of weeks. Just as a reminder, we are doing Kintner, Columbus, and some portions of the cemetery. Also ready to go to bid shortly on street striping and street crack sealing. And then lastly, we got an update on the robotics that I am very anxious to see the results of still. Apparently they came out and did the readings and generated a map, but it is being rerun without the cemetery because the AI couldn't figure out the cemetery. So I'm very interested to see. Steve's going to send those results, I think, here directly, right, Steve?
Yes.
Early results, and then once they get a chance to come and run it again, we'll get an even better take on it. So That's all I have.
On the striping that's gonna be done, is it gonna use a material that's better than is busting up all over the place?
We're gonna use old fashioned paint,
Okay,
which seems to last better than,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Thermoplastic.
Yeah.
Was the thermoplastic the stuff that's
The
really thick
crosswalk,
and raised
there, the
up?
crosswalk there at the Fallen Heroes Trail, half of it is completely gone. It's just busting up in chunks and going away. And, I had that talk with Mr. Parkinson a couple weeks ago, but he's not here anymore. So, but yeah, we need to use something that isn't gonna bust up and be gone within 6 months of when it gets put down.
Have we had problems with that in other areas too with that?
Miller Drive is, isn't the striping coming off there down by Noah's Ark McDonald's-ish?
Yeah, same situation, I think. We talked to John Marr with CT last week when we met at the trail, and he put that on his list
Okay, thank you.
to get that done.
That's a warranty
Yeah.
item on that particular contract with Facemeyer, so that'll be corrected. In general, the thermoplastic will last longer if it's applied right and everything is up to spec. That's why that product costs more, but it does, it can have problems if it doesn't adhere correctly.
Right.
Right.
Temperature, moisture,
All those factors.
got it.
Probably sweeping it before you put it down too.
Oh, that's what my mom told me. Rare form today. All right.
That's all I have.
Coffee with Michael Hudson today.
I didn't. This is my fourth city meeting though today. So I had to take a week off of my real job to catch up on this.
I don't know how you do it.
Damon, great update. Thank you very much. Mr. Ghost.
Yes, we've got the Park and Rec update. We just had a meeting earlier this evening. A number of items we discussed. We had a visitor, Stacy Peak, gave us an update, pretty thorough update on her community organizing efforts for recreation activities and events. I think the next steps for her were basically to report back to you guys in the events committee. So looking forward to see what she has to talk to you about. J.R. Smith Security, good to report that Steve has the security inside established, working on the exterior next and the door security and the auction upcoming here. I think we have an ordinance 2022-16 this evening about that. And then Big Walnut Day of Service, May the 6th. We got a number of items on our list for that. And then the major item also we discussed is with the late Len Weatherby tree planting commemoration. So I did some research and he has 31 total years of service
With Sunbury?
to Sunbury.
Wow, because he had some like teaching experience, I think, like a bunch of public service.
Yes. So it started back in June of '88. He spent 6 years on council. And then he went 18 years as the mayor. That started in 1994. And then his final 7 years, that's when Tommy Hatfield took over January 1, 2012. And then the next 7 years, Mr. Weatherby spent as the council person. So that's 31 total years of service. I think it's exemplary. The least we can do is plant a tree out here for him.
Absolutely.
And so I have been communicating with Scott Weatherby, and finally this morning he gave us the okay to go ahead and proceed with that for May the 6th, which I think is the Arbor Planting Day. And I did some research on the trees. He really liked, he's a Buckeye fan.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd prefer, the family preferred a Buckeye tree. So we did some research on that. And there were two types. There's a two-stem or multi-stem tree, or sort of like a bush that grows like a bush, 6 or 8 feet high. And it's not very hardy, drops a lot of stuff and leaves and poor on maintenance. The other option was a single stem, it's called a Ford McNair Red Horse Buckeye tree. It flowers in the fall and in the spring. And I ran that by Scott and he said that would be fantastic.
Okay, great.
Now, that tree does rest on our no tree list, although there is an asterisk there that says you can get council approval. So
I
I
ran
did,
this by Aaron, right?
yeah, I ran it
He
by.
said it was okay.
Ran it by Aaron, Daryl at Acorn, and also talked to Ed Caprelli at Riverside. He was real knowledgeable, Riverside Nursery.
Okay.
And they said, as long as you go with this single stem, it's hardy, very low maintenance, very good tree, fairly quickly growing. It'll do well in shade and sun. And, you know, they all recommended that. So I think that's enough I want to seek a motion and a vote.
Yeah.
The family is working on what is going to say on the plaque.
Yes,
Also,
I sent the plaque information to Scott this morning, and we had it in our packet in Parks. And it's going to be that same sort of metal sign with a spring that grows and expands
That's pretty cool.
with the tree trunk. So that beats the heck out of the monument on the ground, because for maintenance reasons,
Yep.
we've had problems.
Steve, are you all good with all this?
Yeah, Brad and I spoke. Although it does drop nuts, people come and get them. They
Right.
love the Buckeyes, so
Wow.
it's not really that much of an issue for us. I don't think we'll have too many nuts that aren't picked up by somebody and taken home, so we're good.
Sabrine, do you have anything?
You want a Buckeye tree or a horse chestnut tree? Most people that have Buckeye necklaces are actually horse chestnuts. They're not Buckeyes.
Oh, really?
Buckeyes
Yeah.
are much smaller. Trees are
Right.
small. It's different. But when you see the people at the game, those are horse chestnuts,
Oh, I didn't-
not Buckeyes necessarily. I had to double check it.
Technically, yes.
I've been corrected on that.
It's called an Ocellius carnea,
So I guess I guess
scientific.
do whatever probably the family wants. I think it's, but if they're thinking they want the Buckeyes, like people could pick up and put on a necklace, they might be thinking about a horse chestnut.
Yeah, I don't think he was concerned with that. I ran this all by him, and I think the family's agreeable with this.
Okay, great. And it sounds like all the nurseries were, and our volunteer arborist forester that lives in the area that cares a lot about all the trees in the area said it's great.
Right.
Cool. Would you like to make?
So I'll make a motion to approve the planting on May the 6th with the family members present for the Ocellius carnea Ford McNair Red Horse Chestnut
I'll second that.
Buckeye tree.
Very appropriate. Great work, gentlemen. Great work, Tim.
Thank you.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Jim Ghost,
Yes.
David Martin,
Yes.
Cindy Cooper,
Yes.
Murray Neff,
Yes.
Joe St. John,
Yes.
Damon Kaplan,
Yes.
6 yeas.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you. One other quick item to report. Joe, Mr. Mayor, and I, and John Marlis, CT. Well, so Daryl was there, Steve. We had another meeting about the trail, Section 2 and the flooding issue there, and several takeaways and next step that CT is working on. And hopefully within the next 30 days, we'll have some more information from Wes on what we're going to do.
Thank you. All right, anything else? All right. I don't have any committee reports. Great update, everybody. We're on to the police report. Officer Whiteside or Chief Howard? All right.
We can be a tough crowd.
Okay. Floor is yours.
Okay, under the volume one camera portion, we met with GTEC yesterday. They have a really good product that would work for us, and so far it's been the cheapest quote we've had with cloud service. But we were concerned about keeping everything in-house.
Okay.
It's for everything with quote we got from them. 2 new cameras in each car, 15 body-worn cameras that all work with the computers we have in the car and the cradle points, made things a lot simpler because it's already G-Tech based, I guess. We were looking at over a 5-year period of 85,000.
$85,000 for 5 years.
No, that's a total, that's great, that's broken down over a 5-year period. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, is it $85,000 total? We get 5 years with all that equipment and the cloud backup
Yes.
and the cloud storage, I mean?
Yes, that's everything total.
Okay, I mean, that's really
So
reasonable.
that's cheap what we're paying now.
Yeah.
Body cams and tasers.
Yeah, we get 2 new cameras per vehicle on top of what we already.
Yes,
Huh?
yes, and we're looking at Motorola will be here tomorrow. We're meeting with them as well.
I remember talking about Cradle Points in like my first 6 months and as a council member, and people looked at me like, what is this technology you're talking about?
Yes,
That's good stuff.
now we have it, and it's gonna benefit us now.
Good deal.
The county is having some drone training tomorrow as well. Deputy Chief Wade and I are gonna try to attend that in the morning. If something happens that we're not gonna be back in time, Deputy Chief Wade and Officer Brooks are gonna attend that, so I can meet with Motorola when they get here for that other demo.
Okay. What does the county use? What kind of cameras does the county use? Do they have dash cams?
The county does have dash cams, as well as the in-car. They have the dash cam in the backseat camera. They store all of their, footage in-house.
Okay,
A virtual server for backup or not.
okay, gotcha.
But that's,
We wouldn't, so with this one, we would have forward facing, rear facing, not rear facing in the car, like backseat, right?
it would be in the backseat in a corner, facing like a prisoner you would have.
Okay.
For transport. You also got your back windows.
Okay, all right. Thank you, sir. What do we have in the budget for that, Kathy? Do we have that budgeted for an expense for this year? Police cam?
Not that much, but it sounds like it's only $20,000. So it's really would be the taser camera budget.
Yeah, it's gonna break down the same.
It's gonna break down the same.
Per year for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Not even that, actually.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Our speed signs, Officer Whiteside has been working on that today. And that's been a nightmare, but what we decided to do is we have 2 of the old speed signs. Can't get batteries for them. They're pretty much useless to us right this moment. But we just ordered a platform with some software, new batteries to update the old cameras to the new battery style. We're gonna spend about $1,260.
Yeah.
That's gonna save us about $5,600 from buying new ones.
So is it 2 like retrofit kits and that?
Yes.
For 1,260 total?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Chief, can you use lithium batteries in that, or do they already have those?
We've got a hold of Battery Plus and we've tried to get these built and nobody has what they are. We can't get them. We lucked out, was it last year, got a battery or 2 last year? We just can't get it. So the company has made this retro kit, changes the backing, switches it where it'll take the new batteries that they're telling me it's gonna be around for a minute, but.
Does any of the new, more modern equipment have the lithium stuff on it?
Are those the batteries that we had? I'm not sure.
These lithium batteries, they're super expensive, not something you want to run out and buy for your house necessarily, because they can be, instead of an $80 battery, it's a $400 battery or something. But
These new ones.
they last way longer and you can recharge them mean, these batteries come with 10, 11-year warranties on them. And really amazing technology with you guys, again, worrying about how often it gets tripped and, you know, that whole stuff that I know you guys go through. I just brought it up. I don't know if it's available or not, but
Yeah, they told us these two batteries that we get should run, like the old cameras, and if I did this time wrong, I tell you. We were running about a week on battery charge. With the new backing and platforms with the new batteries, we're gonna get 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 to 4 weeks.
so there's gotta be some technology like that involved in it. though.
The batteries-
Is that impacted by the number of cars that drive past it?
there's a lot of factors. It's how many cars, when the light comes on to tell you your speed.
Okay.
I mean, he could shut that down where it never showed you the speed and just count the cars, and it would probably last 3 months.
Oh, okay.
But I like the fact that it's a deterrent, and it's,
Oh,
I don't want to say it's replacing an officer, but it's giving us some really good data. It slows me down when I see it. I mean,
Yeah,
I
there's
saw
times
that.
you can pick up speed in a lot of different areas. Columbus Street, Granville, those are the two perfect places that I think you have them that I think really do make an impact.
Would it be possible to have a portable sign that goes with it that says what the speed limit is? Because like I was walking down Granville Street the other day and a car went past me and the light came on and it said it was going 35 miles an hour and it never slowed down. So people don't pay attention to the speed limit signs when they see them up at the other end of the road. But if it had hanging right on it or above it, speed limit is 25, then maybe somebody would slow down.
Can I ask you a question real quick? Do you ever set it to come on the speed if it's lower than the speed limit? For example, if it's a 25, are you ever turn it on where it's saying you're going 22, good job? You don't do that, right?
I don't.
So in other words, like if you ever see a speed, you're either at the speed limit or above.
Yes.
Okay. I agree. I've seen what you're talking about. I can't remember where I saw it though.
They'll actually have the sign
Yeah.
hanging right there
Right.
on the display.
The county one that they turn around, doesn't that have it? The one that they have on a trailer?
Yeah, that one doesn't like it. I mean, it'll come on and tell you, hey, speed limit's 25, you're doing 23, thank you.
Right.
Yeah, it's-
I'll pull up.
This one only flashes if you're exceeding.
Right.
You can set that to do whatever. If you want to stay, it can flash.
Slow, flash, fast, flash. You have to go dotted lines if they're exceeding. So you have two different options. You can set that. This speed, have it for a slow flash. The second one, have it for a fast flash. Or you can set a flash, you can do all dashes to where they're exceeding high speed.
Okay. Thank you for getting the retrofit kit. $1,260 seems like a great investment to keep 2 of the units alive and running longer.
It should be about 3 or 4 years out of the
Great.
with the batteries that we're buying, so.
Those batteries will work for the signs that we have now too.
Great.
So.
That's good.
And thanks for you, Officer Brooks and Deputy Chief Wade going to Zoombezi Bay tomorrow, right? Not for pleasure, but for the drone overview
Chilly.
with the county.
That's a really good item for impact fees.
The radar signs.
Yep. We've increased a lot. We have what, 2? How long has it been since we've had 2?
2 officers.
You said there's 2 signs total that we have?
We have 4 now.
4
2 new ones, 2 the ones we've had for a long time.
So this will get us 4 signs back with these retrofits.
We've talked about increasing them like as within the past month. It's like there's I think a high demand for these.
Definitely refocus as a driver.
No doubt.
Yep.
Mhm.
And some people aren't. just like,
If you're gonna be the type of person that disregards that, then there's nothing we can do.
Right.
Most people, it's a lack of focus is why they're speeding.
Right.
Not that they are purposeful speeders in town.
Yeah.
It's one thing to purposely speed on the interstate. You know, a lot of people do that. It seems slow to go the speed everybody's flying by. But in town, lack of focus.
Oh, definitely. I mean, how many people do you see with their phone? They're right in front of their face.
Yeah, since you, the impact, can that be used for the drones?
So I have to think about that more because we've never had it before. It's brand new. It's one thing to have it and then you're expanding on it based on your increase in population.
Kathy and I kind of touched on that, didn't know if it could be used or not, if it had to be for the village or here mark. Getting it around.
Think about it.
We used to use paper airplanes. We had camera on. We're just getting the newest model.
Climb up real high.
All right. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Officer Whiteside. We're on to the administrator report. Mr. Files.
Thank you, Mayor. I had provided my report earlier in the week. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have about that. I'm going to touch upon a couple things. One thing that I didn't note in my report was since your last meeting, Robert Eddie Bryant, one of our longtime employees who had just retired, passed away. He was passionate about our cemetery, took pride in that, and will be probably working on something to commemorate his service to us in regards to the cemetery, whether that be a tree or a bench or something like that. So
Sure. Yes.
then we were working on some personnel things going on. I wanted to mention McDonald's, they're doing an internal renovation. So, and the unused car wash, the kind of the eyesore besides certified, an entrepreneur has bought it. They're going to convert it into commercial space. It'll probably be a threeplex, good adjacent to the bike path. Maybe they'll get some bike related business in there, but they're basically doing a paint and then closing in one bay. One bay will be more of a decorative garage door for whatever commercial purposes, but those are going on. One of the reports that I usually provide the Planning and Zoning Commission, and I threw it into this report, I apologize for the square footage it took up, was the building permits for new construction. If you haven't seen that, it provides you with some historical context on our building activity. And I also wanted to mention Councilman Neff and Grumney had a tour of our wastewater streets, and we had a little time left, and they said, can they see the police department? So they went down there, got an appreciation for their space challenges. And Daryl and I had a virtual meeting with ODOT. They have an old, what did they call them? Their outstations or their, basically they had a small garage area on about a half acre of land at the southern terminus of Morning Street. It's surplus property for them. So we're talking with them to see what kind of price expectation they might have. Again, good adjacent to the bike path, could be parking, just an important piece of property that we're looking into.
Well, no, we're trying to work with developers on donation of right of way for the interchange at $180,000 an acre. So a simple swap would work as well.
That would be nice. And we've told them that, we would anticipate it being a multi-use, kind of a pedestrian walking, biking facility, and they that perked their interest in terms of maybe being able to have some flexibility on pricing. So
Thanks, Steve.
And I'll answer any questions you might have.
Any applicants yet for finance director position?
No. We took the extreme measure of posting it on Indeed. So
No, here we go. Oh no, that's the simple click.
Yeah.
You can automatically apply or something.
But at the same time, you never know. A gem might come in. We might get somebody from the private sector who's been thinking about government, who's strong in accounting. So that was the kind of the step we took today to get a wider audience. It's on national government job boards, it's on the municipal league, but we haven't had any nibbles.
Are you advertising for Rhonda's position also now?
Yes, and we've gotten some pretty good applicants for that. I think we're later this week, we'll review what we have and try to arrange some interviews next week.
Do we have a presence at all on LinkedIn? Because that's the type of position that I think LinkedIn would be very cut out.
I agree with that. I would love to also say that I work for Sunbury on my LinkedIn profile. If we create a page, I can tag on to Sunbury.
That's a good point.
I have to just manufacture like the company I work for. People don't believe me.
LinkedIn, Olivia, our social media person. Okay, I got that note and we will see what we can do with that.
Don't forget Twitter.
Tweet it out.
Elon.
All right. Anything else, Steve?
That's all I had, sir.
Great update. Hey, Steve, you and Daryl have been working these past 2 weeks. My goodness, you guys are cranking it out. So many one-off meetings in between our last council meeting, just keeping the Newman property on board, evaluating firms for master planning and district level planning, putting together RFPs and RFQs and pseudo legal reviews and everything. I mean, you guys are doing an awesome job.
Yeah, thank you.
I just want to say thank you very much. You're a dynamic duo, that's for sure. Great work. All right. We are on to the engineer's report. Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Mayor. Updated report was in your packet. Just a couple of highlights there I mentioned. Quick note on a format change on that right column. We listed out, well, we made sure we grouped all the public projects first and then the private development projects next. But you'll notice listed out the phase of the project there on the right. So it has a phase currently where the project is, either planning, design, construction. So I hope that's helpful just to get a quick read of where things are at. You've heard a few updates already. I'll just mention, Steve and I were talking about the Reservoir Park fishing piers and parking lot. We're going to talk about that and get that project moving on the design phase. And you've heard about the 2022 street program already. I will mention on the 2021 now, what's called 2021, we probably need to update that. The wastewater plant improvements, the Ohio EPA has issued a permit to install for that. So we're going through the final plans, the bid documents, getting some of the electrical and mechanical work on those plans completed and getting that ready for bid. We'll have a schedule for that for the next meeting. So I'll let you know what the schedule on that will be. Let's Avenue, you're aware of that one. On the private side, I'll only mention the ravines at Meadow Ridge. It continues to be pretty heavy planning, a lot of meetings. I know the mayor was at a meeting this afternoon on that with ODOT and others. So still a lot of access and alignment discussion occurring on that one. It's moving at a fast pace and we'll keep you updated on that as soon as things settle. That's, I think, all I'll mention on the private side. And at the back of the report, we just give an update on the current plot plans that have been approved in a residential development and the right-of-way permits. So nothing you haven't seen there before. So, any questions?
I'll just tail on really quickly. Daryl, myself, and then Bob Keeley from CT attended a meeting today that Wes referenced with ODOT, the county engineer, several consultants. When I retire, I'm coming back as a consultant because there were a bunch of them in that room. And, in summary, the difference between what work has been done in the past, let's say like prior to 2018 and where we are now, is the footprint or the scope of the interchange project is complete from virtually Africa Road to 3637 on the east side. And before, ODOT's scope and really like the federal United States Department of Transportation. Their scope was really from like Galena Road to Africa Road, so much narrower. So now that they've encompassed this larger swath of land that's going to be incorporated into potentially federally funded project status, they're finding issues that previously the developer was, signing up for and saying, I will solve for these. What we're finding now is like there's topographical issues, easement issues, especially power line easement is the big one right now. And I don't want to get into a whole lot of detail, but there's some major power line easement issues that the developer prior was saying, we're just going to take it to straight line across, and it would be very expensive to do that. You would have to relocate some high transmission power lines at like 150 grand a piece, and there was going to be 5 or 10 of those relocations. So ODOT's, I think, doing the right thing. We're saying, okay, now that we've expanded the scope, it may be advantageous that the alignment changes just slightly, nothing major, a little bit more of a swooping character as opposed to a straight line. The thing we want to be aware of and what we need to be thinking about is there's real property owners out here, and they've annexed into Sunbury, and there's correlating Berkshire Township property owners adjacent that the final alignment will impact everybody either positively or negatively. And it's our job to make sure that the development community, our engineers, our legal staff, everybody is all in tune on this information. We have some exhibits, but they're not ready to be shared at this point. And we will do that over the next 30 days, we hope. Cool. All right. Thanks, Wes. Any other questions for Wes or comments? All right, no resolutions. We're on to ordinances, third reading. So have ordinance number 2021.49. It's still going to remain tabled, but I'm telling you, we're as close as we have been to this point.
You've been saying that a lot.
It's the
Made some headway last week.
speed of government. It truly is. Okay, I'll put it this way. I don't think it's going to collapse and fall through when it cracks.
Like climbing Everest, it's that last 1,000 feet.
It is. Yes, that's exactly what it is.
The Hillary step. That's what it's called.
So we don't need to like untable this and retable or anything at this point.
No.
Okay.
We put an extension on it
We
a
did.
couple meetings back.
We're
So,
well within that.
all right.
Good memory. Thank you. Ordinance number 2022.12, an ordinance accepting the public improvements to various Sunbury and Meadow sections. This is our third reading, and I think I'm asking Dave Martin if he wants to make a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
All right, we got a motion by Mr. Martin,
I'll second.
second by Mrs. Cooper on 2022.12. Discussion? Roll call.
David Martin,
Yes.
Cindy Cooper.
Yes.
Murray Neff,
Yes.
Joe St. John.
Yes.
Tim Ghost.
Yes.
Damon Capel.
Yes.
6 yeas.
Motion passes. We're on to second readings, ordinance number 2022.16. An ordinance authorizing the sale of unneeded, obsolete, or unfit personal property at public auction pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, section 721.15, and declaring an emergency.
Do we need emergency language, Steve, on this?
Yeah, the emergency language in the rationale for it is in the ordinance. We tweaked it a little bit, actually, between the first reading and the second reading. We want to get the sale done so the stuff can be removed from its present location prior to Memorial Day. We worked with our auctioneer. He gets busy this time of year, so he has limited times available. We booked the time with him really to meet our advertising deadlines. We have to advertise this a couple times before the sale, give the public the opportunity to read up, attend, bid, and get the stuff out of there. We need to get it passed tonight if
Do
you're
we
okay.
need to adjust any language? Because during the Parks Committee, there is a discussion that the lacrosse teams are using the scoreboard. Did we have the scoreboard in the language to auction off?
We do. Would we have to amend it, or can we just pull it out of the auction?
There hasn't been a motion on the ordinance yet. Why don't you just move to strike the scoreboard from the.
Okay, I will move to strike the scoreboard.
Second.
Second by Dave Martin, first by Cindy Cooper. Discussion. Roll call.
Cindy Cooper,
Yes.
David Martin,
Yes.
Marie Neff,
Yes.
Joe St. John,
Yes.
Tim Ghost,
Yes, is this the motion to suspend the rules?
This was not, this was
This
just
is-
to amend the ordinance.
Just to amend the ordinance?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
David
Yes.
Campbell. 6 yeas.
And now I think we're looking for a suspension of the rules, which I have right now.
Now motion to suspend.
All right, we've got Tim Ghost trumping me.
I'm sorry. That was, I'll second.
I'm saying things in a
Second.
backwards order. Tim Ghost on the first and Joe St. John on the second. Discussion, roll call, thank you. I'm
Tim
sorry.
Ghost,
Yes.
Joe St. John,
Yes.
David Campbell.
Yes.
Marie Neff,
Yes.
Cindy Cooper.
Yes.
David Martin,
Yes.
6 yeas.
Motion on the emergency.
A motion by Tim Ghost, second by Joe St. John. Discussion, roll call.
Tim Ghost,
Yes.
Joe St. John,
Yes.
David Campbell.
Yes.
Marie Neff,
Yes.
Cindy Cooper.
Yes.
David Martin,
Yes.
6 yeas.
Motion approved.
Now we got
We still need the ordinance.
Oh, motion on the ordinance. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm feeling it, Tim. I am, I'm tired.
I must confess, I did have a beer over there at Serve. About an hour ago, so that might be.
I have no excuse other than no sleep.
4 meetings in one day.
Yeah, I'll second that. Discussion, roll call.
Tim Ghost,
A yes.
Joe St. John,
Yes.
David Campbell.
Yes.
Marie Neff,
Yes.
Cindy Cooper.
Yes.
David Martin,
Yes.
6 yeas.
Round of first readings,
Motion
ordinance 2022.17. An ordinance authorizing the city administrator to execute a renewal agreement with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources Division of Wildlife for provision of a fisheries management program at the city of Sunbury, upground reservoirs, and declaring an emergency. I think we need some action on this. Is that what you're thinking?
If we could, they know they made the error in not approving the last or losing the last one, but I did send him an email saying, keep us on the stocking list. He said, absolutely. But if we can move it on tonight, that would be great.
Motion to suspend the rule.
A motion to suspend the rules, Dave Martin.
Second.
Second by, can we give this one to Murray?
Yeah, we.
Okay, second by Murray Neff. Discussion, roll call.
David Martin,
Yes.
Marie Neff,
Yes.
Cindy Cooper,
Yes.
Joe St. John,
Yes.
Tim Ghost,
Yes.
David Campbell.
Yes.
6 yeas.
Motion on the emergency.
A motion by, on the
Second.
emergency, and a second by Murray Neff. The first was by Dave Martin. Discussion, roll call.
David Martin,
Yes.
Marie Neff,
Yes.
Cindy Cooper,
Yes.
Joe St. John,
Yes.
Tim Ghost,
Yes.
David Campbell.
Yes.
6 yeas.
Motion on ordinance 2022.17.
Second. A motion by Dave Martin, second by Murray Neff. Discussion, roll call.
David Martin,
Yes.
Marie Neff,
Yes.
Cindy Cooper,
Yes.
Joe St. John,
Yes.
Tim Ghost,
Yes.
David Campbell.
Yes.
6 yeas.
Ordinance number 2022.18. Before I read this, do we need action on this one tonight for things to take effect? I do have a question before we do this, but I'll do the first reading. Ordinance 2022.18, an ordinance amending positions and pay ranges for employees of the city of Sunbury, Ohio, and declaring an emergency. Can I just take 1 minute and talk to Chief Rob real quick? I think some of your folks are included in this. Is that right? The pay range? Can I just grab you real quick? We're not taking a recess. It's just a sidebar, I think is what they call it.
Doesn't have any police listed either. Oh, this isn't related to this. Maybe it is, maybe it is. I don't know. Okay. That's all right. I got you.
Action when they approve the contract, generally.
need to make an adjustment, or I'd like to make an amendment to the ordinance or the supporting documentation behind the ordinance. Chalk this up to my error. We had approved, basically the chief recommends, and then I end up approving pay increases for the police department. One that was not in there was the chief's, and I guess that was my responsibility to go and tell him that he was getting a pay increase. We just had that conversation, and now I'd like to make the recommendation that we include the standard 3%, which is what we did for like Deputy Chief Wade and the other folks. So I'm really sorry for jumbling the process, but Kathy, can I make a motion to amend the ordinance to include Rob? Sorry about that.
You want to leave the low end the same and just put 3% on the tail end, or shift them both? Might as well shift them both.
Yeah, shift them both.
Tail end anymore.
Yeah.
Shift the range.
So
Right. Yeah, shift them both.
that would bring the tail 32.91 times 1.03, 33.90. And the high at 53.56. That's adding 3% to both numbers. That's what you want, right?
I believe so. Is that what I want, Kathy? Okay, great. All right, and I'm sorry about that. So that's the motion I'm making. Anybody like a second?
Second.
Second by Damon Capel. Discussion. Roll call.
Joe St. John,
Yes.
Damon Capel,
Yes.
Tim Ghost,
Yes.
Murray Neff,
Yes.
Cindy Cooper,
Yes.
David Martin.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Shane.
And I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules on ordinance 2022.17.
Second.
Second by Damon Capel. Discussion. Roll call.
Joe St. John,
Yes.
Damon Capel,
Yes.
Tim Ghost,
Yes.
Murray Neff,
Yes.
Cindy Cooper,
Yes.
David Martin.
Yes.
Shane.
It's really been a long day. I just made a motion on the wrong ordinance. It's
I caught it after I said-
2022.18.
Yeah.
I said 17.
Yes, that's correct.
I'm sorry, guys. Somebody guide me on what I need to do now.
We need to strike that last.
I just re-roll call it.
Same
Okay.
motion on ordinance 2022.18, re-roll call.
Joe St. John,
Yes.
Damon Capel,
Yes.
Tim Ghost,
Yes.
Murray Neff,
Yes.
Cindy Cooper,
Yes.
David Martin.
Yes.
6 yeas.
So you've got an amendment, you've got a suspension. Did we get the emergency?
Emergency's next.
All right, I'd like to make a motion on the emergency of 2022.18.
Second.
Second by Damon Capel. Discussion. Roll call.
Joe St. John,
Yes.
Damon Capel,
Yes.
Tim Ghost,
Yes.
Murray Neff,
Yes.
Cindy Cooper,
Yes.
David Martin.
Yes.
6 yeas.
All right, I'd like to make a motion on the ordinance 2022.18.
Second.
Second by Damon Capel. Discussion. Roll call.
Joe St. John,
Yes.
Damon Capel,
Yes.
Tim Ghost,
Yes.
Murray Neff,
Yes.
Cindy Cooper,
Yes.
David Martin.
Yes.
6 yeas.
Good deal. We made it. All right, we're on new and unfinished business. We're gonna go with the purchase order number 35581 CNC Electric Motor Service at $15,125. A borrow pump?
It's a pump that Dale needed to order and is an emergency. It has been ordered and this is just ratifying the purchase of it.
Okay.
No budgeting issues for that.
No.
right?
I'll make that
Got a
motion.
motion by Dave Martin,
Second.
second by David Capel. Discussion?
It comes out of the sewer fund, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
And we're only here because of the dollar amount.
Are we at roll call? Roll call.
David Martin,
Yes.
Damon Capel,
Yes.
Tim Ghost,
Yes.
Joe St. John,
Yes.
Murray Neff,
Yes.
Cindy Cooper.
Yes.
6 yeas.
I'd like to go to the Newman contract addendum number 3 next, and then we'll go to the impact fees. So Newman contract addendum, can we just give a really quick update on this one?
Sure. We were contacted by the the agent for the property owner. We've had discussions back and forth about the coordination of the transition of the property. As you know, our contract provides that the seller who has a roofing company is going to put a new roof on the building on Columbus Street for us as a part of the contract. He's wanting to coordinate that, but he says it's hard. A couple issues. Putting the roof on, he'd like to be done with that when he turns the building over to us. He just says, that's cleaner, I can be out of your way, and so forth. He's a little behind on taking occupancy of his new building, which is within the city limits. So he's asked for his occupancy or his possession of the building to be extended post-closing through May 15th. We're going to close on the property by April 15th. So he's asking for possession to extend until 30 days after closing.
You could rent it to him for a month.
In exchange, he is going to finish that roof prior to May 15th.
Oh, okay.
So that allows him not to be in our way. He's also going to give us access to the building in the meantime, so we can continue our strategic planning as far as, you know, the upgrades and the use and everything we need to do. So it really isn't going to necessarily hold us back from what we're doing. And it's a win-win, I think, for both parties. So the addendum just memorializes that. Staff supports it. I said I'd like to have an addendum that makes it a part of the contract. So you would be approving, that's what the addendum says. You'd be approving that tonight.
You need that in the form of a motion?
Motion and a vote. It's already been signed by the.
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Dave Martin,
I'll second.
second by Cindy Cooper. Got Dave Martin with the most motions tonight. Nice job. Discussion? Roll call.
David Martin,
Yes.
Cindy Cooper,
Yes.
Murray Neff,
Yes.
Joe St. John.
Yes.
Tim Ghost.
Yes.
Damon Capel.
Yes.
6 shades.
All right, I'm going to go really quickly into the impact fee discussion. There's been a lot of movement on the impact fee discussion over the past week. We've had the data that came back from the objective analysis from our consultant for about 6 months. What we've really been talking about is how we are going to implement them. A couple things have happened recently, and one of which is Murray and myself met with the BIA today. At a high level, we just, we're, pumping up Sunbury and talking about everything that we have going on. It was really well received. We also hit on the impact fees. And I think there's still a few details we need to work out before our next council meeting. We're going to have legal review, both outside counsel, inside counsel, assist us with just making sure that we're not only being fair, but that this can be everything that we're talking about from an implementation schedule will be backed up by legislation and double and triple checked. It'll just keep us and our development community in good standing. Good. You want to hit on anything from the BIA meeting?
No, I think it was a great meeting today. We kind of just talked about Sunbury, talked about the impact fees a little bit, and just how we're here. We're in the mix of all of this growth that's going on, and then we're here to partner and grow responsibly and have growth pay for growth.
It was all good. Really good. I think we're going to be getting a lot of phone calls. I gave my personal cell phone to everybody in that room. Maybe it wasn't the best idea, but I said, give me a call.
I think it was.
And so one guy pulled me aside and said, I'll be calling you tomorrow. So I think I pumped us up. I did not fabricate anything. I've produced all facts. We have a lot to be proud of, and I'm being serious as can be. And there's a lot of great opportunity in this particular area. Folks like Len and Dave and Tommy and Wes and everybody who came before us. Chief, you've been here for what, 64 or 5 years?
Yeah.
I'll build this town. Kathy Belcher, of course, have put you guys in a great position. So thank you very much. All right, we are on to your unfinished business. Tim goes.
Nothing tonight.
Okay, Mr. Capel.
Nothing here.
All right, Mrs. Cooper.
Just Murray and I are continuing to do our Voynachek Academy. It has been a commitment, eh? We've gone to quite a few. I don't know how many is total. 6, 9. I mean, there's quite a few training sessions. So I think we have 2 left, right? Another virtual one and then an in-person one. The morning session today was on what did we say it was on? Public, what did I say it was on, chief? Public safety. Yeah, so that was really interesting. They gave us lots of stuff to say, to go back to council with and work together on plans and work together with county level and sheriff's department, just lots of cool stuff to think about and talk about. And so looking forward to learning more and talking with you all about more. I think we'll figure something out when we're finally done with our training to have some sort of work session or some sort to fill you guys all in on everything that we've been learning. But
How much longer do you have? How many more
I
sessions?
think we have 2 more. They're every other week. So we go through April, I want to say.
23rd, I think is the last, and that's on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday is our last one. We've been having them every other Wednesday from 9 to noon. And they are now on the same days as council because of that 5th week. So it makes for long days too for us on Wednesday. But it's been good stuff.
The chief administrative officer of Morpsey knew that you both were in there, and they said that's really good that you have Sunbury represented when we met with them last week, which was pretty cool. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, we've been learning a lot. So we're looking forward to flushing some of it out and working on it.
Excellent. On the public safety side of things, one thing that's coming down to the State House right now, and I think Governor DeWine supports, we need to talk about this, is the I would say the statewide training funding effort. So one thing, there's huge disparation between Columbus and like a village, let's say, like when we were a village, in terms of funding and what's required and things of that nature. And so one of the things that they're proposing is onto each auto insurance renewal, there would be a very small fee that would be applied that would go to fund statewide police training, and it would be proportionally distributed based on the number of officers and things like that. But I think it's interesting, something that I've heard from other police departments is like, are your guys going here? Are your officers taking this? And I'm like, okay, are these required or are these discretionary? And, we're trying to keep up with the times. And I think DeWine and the legislature are trying to take a hard look at this. So there's more of a standard type approach to the training. It's just to piggyback on what you were saying about public safety. Right.
It was interesting because they did this little poll and when we all came back and the gentleman who was doing it said typically he does these events with police officers. And so he was like, the answers that public servants gave were different. We had very few like crime. We had more like flooding and all the stuff that we think about. And so he was like, this is actually great for me because then it gives them 2 different perspectives. But it was interesting that we came back with different stuff than you would come back with.
That's good. Anything else?
No.
All right. Mr. Martin?
I just wanted to say, fortunately, none of us are on the ballot this time, but early voting has started yesterday. And there will be another primary in August when they can figure out what's going on down at the State House. So they're going to do 2 primaries before the general election this time around.
Okay, sounds good. They got to figure out what they're doing in the Supreme Court too, not just the State House.
Yeah, but we don't vote on what's going on at the Supreme Court.
That's true.
Yeah, that's not our issue.
That was just a little touche. I just wanted to touche
vote on what's going on in Ohio.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Neff?
No.
All right, good deal. We already came around the horn. I'm going to be really quick. Noah's Ark, they need people to work there. They're hiring. You have to be 18 years old and like interacting with kids. So Tim, Damon, you could not do it.
You mean at least 18 years old?
Yes, did I say that?
You said you have to be 18 years old.
At least 18.
They would hire a 19-year-old, wouldn't they?
Yes, they would.
Okay.
I think they just need some help. I'm sorry. Car wash, Take 5, opening on 4/18. They told me to tell everybody for the first 2 weeks, free car washes for everybody.
What?
Yeah, I emailed yesterday. I said,
they'll regret
are you
that on
sure
day
you want me
one."
to do that?
They
Seriously?
do that.
Are they gonna have a
I've heard that
ribbon
before.
cutting or something ceremony?
They are. It's I think after they work out the kinks. He sent me the date, Steve. You were on it. It's like the 26th or
Yeah, late in the month.
Okay,
later in April. So that.
glad to see that. That'll be good.
Yeah, I already hit on the ODOT environmental. I wanted to see if we had an opportunity to give this any thought. A small group of us met yesterday, no quorum issues, by the way. And we talked about the events committee, but we also talked about the element of adding in, I forget what the word was, like commemoration or memorial or something component into the events committee. There would basically be an intake channel if folks wanted to install a sitting wall or a fountain or something like that.
Bench or tree.
Yeah, prayer stake, things like that.
So you're thinking about amending the name from, they call it Commemoration and Events Committee or Events and
something like
Commemoration.
that. I wanted to get council's thought on it. I don't think we have to take action tonight, but
Can we think on that?
yeah, definitely.
The idea, what kind of, to maybe expand on that just a little bit. I've been in these meetings where somebody comes in and they have a worthwhile cause, but they come to you for approval, teary-eyed, and they're looking for an answer.
Yes.
Where to put a monument, where to construct something. And it puts you in a difficult position. You don't want to put them off. I mean, they're looking for an answer, but really there needs to be a process, or at least we discussed, there needs to be a process internally where they come and have that conversation with staff. Staff is able to evaluate, give feedback to them, process it through somebody. But the question's always been, who's going to do that? Is it going to be one person? Probably a committee makes sense. It's just a thought that maybe that might be a spot for it.
I think that's a good spot.
Actual events committee.
Commemoration and Events Committee.
That's good.
Great spot, especially just starting up. Doing now.
I mean, if it gets to a point where they need two committees for it, you could separate them. But at least, to the extent you feel like you have, I guess, see what happens as you meet. You've got a meeting tomorrow, right?
Right.
You're probably going to be, and we don't know that we have anything pending in the chute right now. But
We usually have at least one or two of these a year.
Oh, yeah.
At least. And they're usually, like Dave said, show up and, hey, no offense, like I'm trying to get my Eagle Scout badge or something, and I'd like to put this in it. It's like, okay, I don't have enough information right now. I feel like there does need to be.
It's to the benefit of the resident too.
Yeah.
More so, really.
If you would do me a favor, call it the Events and Commemoration Committee.
Yeah.
Because if the lead word is commemoration, people they're going to think that you only talk to people who had somebody die in their family. So call it the Events and Commemoration Committee rather than the other way around.
Is that a motion? Sure. Okay, we got a motion to change the Events Committee name to Events in Commemoration Committee.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a second on the table. This is really taking off, folks.
Rock and roll.
Buy in early. Discussion. We'll call this like Bitcoin. It's taking off.
David Martin,
Yes.
Tim Ghost.
Yes.
Cindy Cooper,
Yes.
Murray Neff,
Yes.
Joe St. John,
Yes.
Damon Capel,
Yes.
Rick Shays.
All right, good deal. I heard a little acquiescence in there, a couple of the yeses, but I'm very happy.
Yeah, it was a
See, we're
quiet
unanimous
yes for a couple.
All right,
Motion to adjourn.
we got a motion to adjourn.
Anything from the highly paid intellectuals?
That's only Daryl. Discussion? No, we need a second.
I don't have a second.
Oh, I'll second.
We got a second by Tim Ghost. Discussion? Roll call.
Damon Capel.
Yes.
Tim Ghost,
Yes.
Joe St. John.
Yes.
Murray Neff,
Yes.
Cindy Cooper,
Yes.
David Martin,
Yes.
Rick Shays.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.